shot I struggle to memorize the way you felt between your thighs.
What would you define as your social support network?
A group of people who always have my back, who always are there for me and always give good advice, so I would recommend that my friends would be my social support network.
Friends, family, the people around me that care about me enough to actually support me with their resources. So if that's financially, just spending time, energy, other resources to see me succeed, to help me succeed, more than just keeping me from crashing, more than keeping me afloat, but actually seeing me succeed.
My sister.
People I would confide in if I need support at all, or if I'm having trouble in school or just in life in general.
Yeah, so social support for me is a very broad term that encompasses pretty much any kind of help that ordinary people provide to each other. We're less likely to use that term to describe professional helpers. Sometimes it is, but it's just the everyday assistance between people. When I talk about my work, I focus more on specifically on supportive communication, because there are forms of help that we provide to each other that are not words. And for me, supportive communication is about communication that's intended to help another person who's in need of support, of assistance of some kind. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's believed that social support and even perceived social support can have a positive effect on an individual's mental and physical health.
Mm-hmm.
Is there research that actually supports this?
Quite a bit, actually.
Yeah.
So, so I think this is probably from the chapter that you read that I wrote. But I think that supportive communication has at least 4 different ways of helping people. So one of those is to provide us with information. So when we have problems, hassles, stresses that we're dealing with, one of the important things that other people can do for us is to tell us about things that we don't know, resources, ideas, even new perspectives on what we're experiencing. And that enables us to make different choices and think about things in ways that we wouldn't have otherwise. I also think supportive communication motivates behavior. So if you're thinking about people trying to deal with their own problems, knowing that someone else is involved and cares about what's going on with you can get you to take the right actions. And I think about my partner who recently quit smoking, and for quite a long time I just kind of let him know that I would encourage him to do it, and that I was going to be there for him when it was hard. So I think that was motivating for health reasons. And people also talk about ways in which social support promotes self-esteem. So when you know by communicating to someone else that they do love and care about you, or at least like you and have an interest in you, I think that's health promoting as well. And then the part that I probably have directly studied myself the most is that talking with other people about our problems reduces distress. So just having that sense that another person cares enough to listen to something bad that's going on with you is health health promoting, in part because, and this is where some of the research connects between communication and psychology and health medicine, is that talking with others about our problems can reduce cardiovascular reactivity, so your heart doesn't react as much to stress. And it also boosts immune system function. These are really interesting outcomes that you wouldn't necessarily have predicted, but there is something about being connected to other people and knowing that they care about you that helps us physically as well. So, yeah.
Would you agree that having a larger social support network helps you live a healthier life?
It's good to have a bigger social network because there's more people you can go to for different things, and you can kind of subgroup your friends in different categories, like from school or from home or something like that.
Yes, because the larger your social support system, there's more people with different personalities that can help you with different things that you need help with, specifically.
Absolutely. If you got people to help you out and come around you when times are tough, or to fuel a good thing, then that absolutely will promote longevity in your life.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I'd say having people support you in your lifestyle can lead you to live a little bit healthier and focus more on eating right and working out and living a healthy life.
No, because I feel like the smaller social network lets you build up on that degree of trust, so you can share more and feel comforted, and they have that relationship with you where they know how you react to things, and you know how they would react to something, so you know who to go to, what particular time, and you can only do that in a smaller group situation.
Can you give an example of a time social support was unwarranted and made you feel uncomfortable?
I can think of one example of that. Back when I was in high school, I was on the wrestling team, and my parents were worried that I was losing too much weight every week for weigh-ins for our matches, so it made me feel uncomfortable because they were, voicing their concerns to my coach, and obviously he didn't want to be put in the middle of that, but they were just looking out for me, really. But that was the time where the social support made me feel a little uncomfortable.
Whenever, if I'm upset or something and my friends try to comfort me, and I get really uncomfortable because I hate when people see me upset.
Sometimes when someone tries to give you advice when you don't need it, it could make you feel uncomfortable, and it can almost feel like they're attacking you. So I think it's better when somebody asks you for help and then to be given it, and not to just give it when it's unwarranted.
If someone wanted to, be there, be that support system, but just did a terrible job, that happens all the time because people are idiots. So I don't think it has anything to do with the social structure, but more the relationship portion of the things.
Would you agree that more social support in terms of quantity results in less social strain, and vice versa, less social support results in more social strain? Would you agree with that statement?
Very broadly, yes, but there are a lot of nuances in there. So I think one of the things that communication scholars have been particularly good at pointing out is that quantity doesn't always equal quality. So, if every guy in your house is supportive when you're or tries to be supportive when your girlfriend breaks up with you, okay? But what they all say is, oh, they're a bunch of fish in the sea, there's so many girls out there, grow up, man, it's not that important, be a man, and you're still hurting, then all that quantity doesn't really help very much. The other kinds of issues that come into play sometimes are that people can need to seek support, but feel that they can't, or feel that there's difficulties in doing so because they have conflict or strain within their social network. And then maybe kind of the flip of that is I need too much support, and so I sort of exhaust or wear out the people in my social networks. So I would say, all other things being equal, more is better, but all other things are not always equal. So, yeah.
If you're falling behind in a class and need support, who would you go to?
When I'm struggling in school, I always go to my parents because to them it's who they care most about my grades personally and how I'm doing. And I know they'll give me advice that's best for me and help me most sincerely.
If I was falling behind in a class, I'd probably want to go to someone who has been in my position or could tell me about what they did in my position. So I'd probably seek out maybe an older friend who either went to my college or went to a different university, or just see how they dealt with it, and just see if I could, take their advice and do that on my own. I like to do things on my own, but I would probably just reach out to other, peers, classmates.
I guess it depends on the reason. I mean, if it was like a lack of focus in my personal life, I'd probably try to go to some friends or family, or for like my support group, but if it was just, if I wasn't understanding the material in the class, I'd probably try to go to a TA or see the professor.
I would probably my friends because they know most about this school and all the classes I take, and they would lead me on the right track back to where I needed to be.
I would go to my professor because ultimately it is up to them for what grade I get in the class. If I get an A, it's going to be on them. It's not going to be on my friends or my peers. It's going to be on me, and it's going to be on my professor. So they would have the best advice, and they would help me succeed.
So based on the current research, does the impact of provided social support depend more heavily on the actual message or like the source, like where it's coming from?
Yeah, that's a good question. So I think that the ultimate impact of supportive behavior depends on a combination of the message, the support provider, and the support recipient. And sometimes that makes that complicated. So a lot of my research is focused on advice as a form of support, and that's, for me, advice is a recommendation that you would give to someone about what to do for their problem, and it's a form of more informational or instrumental support rather than emotional support. And so in the work that I've done, we can see that things about advice messages matter. So it matters that what you tell other people to do be reasonably effective and feasible and not have too many crazy drawbacks, that'll get them into trouble if they do it. It's also important that it not be insulting or patronizing when you give the advice, not make people feel criticized. But on the other hand, the message is not all there is to it, because we tend to be more positive toward advice from people that we trust and people that we think have some expertise with regard to the problems. We also prefer advisors who are more confident, and a variety of other things. And then kind of to add to the complication of that is that recipients can vary. So some people tend to want to think more kind of logically and analytically about their problems, and so will be more interested in detailed advice, and other people may not be so receptive for